So I had a gun pulled on me today. I was at home. Let me give you guys some backstory first. Last week, my daughter and I were on the couch watching a movie. As you know, like, we've been home and in quarantine. My daughter has chicken pox, so we've been in quarantine, and so we were cuddled up on the couch watching a movie. By this point, we were already, like almost halfway to the movie. So, we've been sitting on the couch. We've been still watching a movie for a little bit of time, And next thing you know, like, you hear banging. And when I say banging, it's like he's banging hard as fuck. And he's not just banging like in one spot. It's like he's walking around downstairs. Like, he'll be in his kitchen and do, and then he'll go to his bedroom, and then like over by his mirror wall, like just banging everywhere. And so he had even banged like by the front door, which is where my couch is. And so we're sitting on the couch, and I paused it at this point. Excuse me. And it's
So she has a neighbor who was basically, making noise and stuff like that, banging on stuff. And she goes down to confront him or to ask him about, what's going on. And then he ends up pulling out a weapon on her.
And like, my couch is vibrating. So then my daughter starts getting scared because she's like, "Mommy, what is that? Mommy, what's going on?" And I'm not gonna lie, like, the way that it was shaking stuff in my kitchen, shaking my Christmas tree, shaking the when he did in the bathroom, like, stuff in my cabinets was shaking, like he's hitting it so hard. Like, I thought, is this like a spiritual warfare? I had taken a video and sent it to somebody and was like, "Yo, like, is this spiritual or is it my neighbor? Like, what is going on?" Because he was banging so hard. Anyways, fast forward to a few days ago. It's like, it's not even 7 in the morning. It's like 6:45. Me and my daughter are up. She's itchy from the chicken pox, so I'm trying to sleep. We've been up. Most of these nights we're up because she's uncomfortable. So I brought her into the living room, let her watch a show. I walk back to the room. I'm trying to go back to sleep so I can get some fucking sleep. 6:50 starts to roll around. Oh, we at this shit again. It's not even 7 in the morning. Just walking around, like, same thing. And the TV's not loud because I'm trying to sleep. So the TV volume was at like 15. It was low. And then my noisemaker is on, which is always on at night. So I know it's not that. But my noisemaker is louder than what the TV was going. But besides that, like, nobody was walking. Dog was in his crate. Daughter was on the couch. Because I got up and I checked. I'm like, why? Like, why? So I got mad. Like, I'm not sleeping. I'm tired as fuck. My daughter is sick as hell. Like, she was throwing up and she had chicken pox. Like, she was really going through it. We're both not sleeping and you're choosing to do this. It's not even 7 in the morning. Like, this is demon time. I'm coming. So I end up grabbing my dog. I told my daughter, "Baby girl, I'll be right back." She's like, "Where you going?" I'm like, "I'm going downstairs." Because it's the knocking. Because it was scaring her. It scares her every time. It scares her. So I'm like, "Okay, I'll be right back." And I take my ass downstairs. We had 3:45, so I'm going to have to do a part 2. I'm sorry. Part 2 to me getting a gun pulled out on me. If you haven't already seen part 1, then you're going to want to go back and watch that because I'm not about to reiterate on any of it. And we're really just going to hop right back into the story. So this second time around, it's not even 7 in the morning. My daughter was sick, chickenpox. She's on the couch. And I'm in bed, and then the banging starts up again. So this time around, when he was banging, my TV almost came off the dresser, and my laundry detergent fell from the rack, like the shelf in the laundry room. It fell on the ground, the lid broke, and it was laundry detergent all over the floor. And I don't really know how you would feel when something like that's happening, but you just piss me off. Like, you're pissing me off. I haven't really slept much. My daughter is sick. I'm just trying to take care of my kid. It's not even 7 in the morning. You banging on the ceiling for what? For what? So, like, I was getting frustrated. I don't have, when I'm tired, I'm irritable. Like, I don't have patience when I'm tired. So, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Baby girl, stay. I'm be right back. I had to walk the dog anyway. So, I got Jack. We went downstairs, went to their door. I knocked on the door. Jack barked. And I'm not gonna cap with you. Like, I kind of fucked with it. Because I'm like, okay, big dog. Like, he about the shit. He with it. He with it. I knocked again. He barked again. Then the little nigga decided to jump up and try to open the door. I'm like, ooh, okay, it's time to go. It's time to go. And I would just like to say, I got a lot of comments of people telling me, like, oh, you need to have a male friend. You need to have a friend that can come and help you out in situations like that. First of all, I've been used to having to be independent for a little while now. So I'm just the type, like, if something's going on in that moment, nobody's here right now, right? The situation's happening right now. Nobody's going to be able to get here right now, and this is when the situation's happening. So I just go ahead and handle it. At this point, baby, I'm mommy and daddy. So what's up with it? But anyways, yeah, that was the end of that. So then we're moving on to the day that he did pull the gun out on me. And it's like midday. Me and my daughter were sitting on the bed. We're like talking about whatever it was that we're talking about. And Jack, the dog, decides to bring me a toy, really, but I didn't want to do it. So little mama started tossing the toy for him. She had only tossed it to him, maybe, I would say, like, absolute max, like 4 times. So I get that he was running. He went and got the toy and came back a few times or whatever. But I still didn't really think, like, that's a valid reason for you to start banging on the ceiling like that. Like, you do realize you live in an apartment, right? Like, this isn't a house. Like, it's never going to be perfectly silent. That's a very unrealistic expectation, desire to want to have when you live in an apartment. Anyway, so this time, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was petty. I started stomping back, and he's just walking around, like, just all over the house. I started getting mad. I started stomping on the floor. I got my baby daddy on the phone, FaceTime, at this point in time, and I'm being petty, like, I'm stomping back. And then I get fed up, and I'm like, nah, fuck that. You know what? Like, mama, I'll be right back. And he's like, no, don't. Look, he did tell me, wait till I'll come. He was like, don't do anything. I'll come and talk to him. But I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, it's happening right now. I'm tired of it. And I didn't think there was any valid reason for you really to be doing that. So I go down there. Boom, 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 boom. I knock on the door. And I did say, when I was outside the door, I'm like, yo, come to the door. I was like, open up. Because you know how many times I've been down there? And then he just, anyway, I said that. We're already at 4 minutes, y'all. I'm going to make the part 3 right now, and I'm going to post it. So, yeah, sorry. Part 3 and final part of me getting a gun pulled out on me. Also, I started up a new account because I can't go live on my current one because TikTok thinks it's weird for me to talk about feet content, and I got permanently banned for going live. So, go follow my new TikTok. It's going to be tagged. For anyone new, Part 1 and Part 2 is already posted. I'm not going to reiterate on anything. We're just going to hop right back into the story. So I'm downstairs. On the door. I still have Michael on the phone on FaceTime. And I have my earpiece in so he's able to see and hear the whole conversation. So I go, I knock, and this time he actually answers the door. And I'm going to say it to y'all just like I said it to him. I wasn't yelling. I'm going to say it to y'all the exact same way I said it to him. Yo, what's the problem? Said just like that. He's like, you know what, little bitch? I got something for you. Don't even worry about it. Hold on, stay right here. I'll be right back. He closes the door, and I'm standing outside. And people have asked me, what were you thinking was going to happen, right? I'm going to be honest with you. A part of me kind of thought that maybe he was going to go get his phone because I showed him the fact that I was on FaceTime. Like, I was obvious with it, you know what I'm saying? So a part of me kind of thought, like, oh, maybe he went back inside because he's finna record this too. So, but I really didn't know. I was just kind of standing out there, like, aimlessly. I even thought to myself, like, should I just go? Because it kind of took a little second. He comes back to the door. This time, it's not just him. This time, he's with what I believe to be his mom. So he opens the door, and he's like, so what's up with it? And he's just wailing his gun around. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't even remember the whole conversation that was said, like, from them. Like, I know they were complaining to me about whatever, but at this point in time, like, I was just looking at the gun. And y'all see how small I am? Like, I'm a small ass female.
You know, this case reminds me, you remember that bald-headed guy in Brooklyn? You remember when he shot the Haitian father and the stepson, you remember? And that black female came out in the hallway, was talking to him? This reminds me of that situation. Remember, he was banging, making noise, then he went upstairs and kicked the door because he said they was making too much noise.
Why the fuck are you even coming to the door with the gun in the first place? Like, out of all the things that, like, the way that things could have been handled, this big man, like, to put it more into perspective for you guys, he's like 6 foot, 200 and something pounds, and he's got his older mom next to him, who's totally cool with the fact that he just brought a gun to I'm 5'6", but I'm a small ass female. Like, I remember thinking to myself too, like, okay, so this nigga, he trying to stunt, like, you being a man of that size and stature, pulling out a gun on someone like me who's small, and this is, you know how common, like, noise altercations and things like that happen in apartments? Like, this is a very common thing to happen, but for you to decide to go to the lengths to grab a gun is crazy. So him and his mom, they're both talking, like I said, and I don't remember, like, nothing that they're saying. So I was just standing there, and I'm just watching the gun. This guy's he was being very expressive with the gun. And I was standing there, and I was watching the gun, and I asked him, I was like, is that a real gun, or is that a BB gun? And the reason why I had asked that is because, you know, like how on BB guns, like how there's like that little plastic tip at the, you know? I thought that I saw one on the gun, so that's why I had asked that question. He was like, nah, little bitch, this shit is real. So then he, you know, he taking out the bullets and everything, showed me that they're real. And so then at that part, or at that point, like, it kind of like, okay, so this is real. This was supposed to be the final part, but I really can't fit it because we're already at 4 minutes, so I'm gonna film it right now, okay? All right, go. And go follow the other account. I gotta get to 1,000 to go live, okay? Got you? Okay. Yeah. Part 4 of me getting a gun pulled out on me. For anybody that's new here, part 1, 2, and 3 are, well, 3 I'm still editing, but it'll be up soon, okay? I'm not gonna go back on it. I'm not gonna reiterate any of it. You're gonna have to go watch it. But for everybody else, let's get into it. So I'm just like in shock, like, okay, all right, you know, like, this is really happening. And I did think in that moment too, like, you are a bitch. You are a pussy ass, bitch ass nigga. You are a bitch ass man. Any man who's just gonna pull a gun out on a female, period, especially over something as minuscule as a noise altercation, you don't define a man to me. Like, anyways, and let me also say that this was a black man. So this is a black man who pulled out a gun on a black woman with his black, what I think is his mom, right next to him, who is totally cool with the whole situation. In fact, she was talking too. Like, they were both in agreement, and both were cool with the fact that he just pulled out a gun on me. And, like, we've seen each other around, so even at that too, like, he also knows I'm a single mom. So it's just, you know, like, it's So at this point in time, I'm still just watching where the gun is going, because I'm the same way. I use my hands when I talk, and he doing the same thing, and I'm watching the gun. Like, wherever the gun go, that's where my eyes are following. And I'm sure somebody's wondering, oh, why didn't you run? Like, as soon as he saw a gun, why didn't you run, Ariana? So I remained calm. I just was watching the gun, and I remember thinking, like, okay, so this is black on black crime, and you can't really go around saying that Black Lives Matter whenever it's mostly black people that be killing black people. Anyways, so him and his, what I think to be mom, are still yelling at me, still saying whatever they're saying. He's still threatening me, telling me that he doesn't mind using it on me. He said it multiple times that he don't mind using it. He don't mind using it. I'll use this and da-da-da. Kept saying that. I'm just watching the gun. Eventually, they get everything they need to say out their system and end up closing the door in my face. At this point in time, like, I just ran upstairs. I went and got my daughter. I still have Michael on the phone. I'm like, hey, like, I'm gonna go up to the leasing office, go tell my leasing manager, and I'm gonna call the police. So that's exactly what I did. On my way up, I called the police, got to the leasing office, asked for leasing manager. I ended up having a discussion with her, let her know the entire situation. She was surprised, and that was a little bit frustrating, but yeah. The police ended up meeting me up at the leasing station or leasing office, and I ended up telling them the situation on everything that had happened. And they were asking me, and I really appreciate the officers that helped me, by the way. They were very kind men. Like, for me, I was in so much shock of the situation that it was like I didn't even think that far. Like, for me, I was just thinking, like, okay, I don't want to be near this guy. I don't want him near my daughter, because I don't know his background. What if he was already having a bad day? Maybe he could have pulled the trigger. Like, after the situation came about, that's when it really started to, like, I started to absorb the seriousness of the situation, and it put me in, like, a major state of just shock. I did end up telling them, like, yeah, I want to press charges. Just at that initial time, like, I was just literally just, like, complete and utter shock. I kept asking my leasing manager, I'm like, can y'all, like, what's the plan? Like, he needs to move out, or do I need to move out? Like, I'll break my lease. Like, for me, I wasn't even thinking, like, oh, he needs to get punished, he needs to go to jail. I'm thinking, okay, I need to get myself the fuck out of this situation so nothing like this can happen again, right? I need him away from me, or I need to go. Whichever one can happen first is, I was looking for those answers. I wasn't looking for pressing charges. The police ended up going to his unit, talking to him. He was honest about the situation, and so he did get arrested and he did go to jail. He posted bond the day after and was back in his unit right after that. The day of his arrest, they did confiscate his gun, and they did ask him if they could do, like, a walkthrough of his unit to see if there were any other weapons, and he did agree to that. So they did check, and they told me that he didn't have any other guns or any other weapons in the apartment, and that they were keeping the gun that they confiscated, and he wasn't getting it back. I don't know how to tell this story, like, fast enough to fit within 3 minutes or 4 minutes, so I'm gonna go make the other video. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I don't even want to keep making these videos at this point, but we're gonna get the story out. Go follow my other account, by the way. I'm gonna have me pinned, tagged, whatever, underneath this video. Go do that so we can go live and chit chat and talk on the new account. I gotta get to 1,000 in order to do so. So part, like, 5 of me getting a gun pulled out on me, and this is the ending finish up of the story. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'm not going to reiterate on anything. The other parts will be posted by the time you go over there or soon enough. So let's get into it. My leasing manager wasn't really able to help me. She was just like, oh, I gotta talk to the legal team. I don't really know what's gonna happen. Obviously, like, it's a violation of the lease to do that, right? But, like, for me in that moment, I'm like, I need answers, right? Because in my head, I'm like, I got a daughter, I'm a single mom, I don't carry. And for all of you guys that told me that I need to get a gun and all of that, my boss, who I work for, actually was able to point me in a direction of somebody who owns his own gun range and things like that, who's gonna get me trained up, and I will become licensed to carry. So bitch, don't play with me. Like I said, I'm mommy and daddy with the I need to go. My voice is going away too. Like, so the next day comes about, and I guess it was his friend. At the time, I thought that it was him who came and knocked on my door. And he was saying, he was asking if we could just talk. And I had told him through the door, I was like, I don't feel comfortable speaking to you. And the friend was just like, okay. And he left, and that was it. I ended up calling my or actually my daughter's dad was on the phone, so he heard, and I did end up asking him to go downstairs and speak to them for me, because I'm not comfortable with them coming to my door. I didn't want to have, and I don't want to have any in-person exchanges with them or anything like that.
You know, and she's a single mother, so she only lives alone with her child. And she don't have anyone else who's with her, you know, to have her back, you know, just in case something happens.
So he ended up he was pretty much wanting me to drop the charges, explaining that the guy who pulled the gun out on me, he's about to be graduating college. Apparently they had just now paid rent and they really didn't have anywhere else to go, and really just trying to like plead his case. His friend was not honest with him. His friend had told him that when I came and I knocked on the door, when he came to the door, he already had the gun, which was completely not true. He told his friend that I told the police that he pointed the gun at me, which is not true. In fact, the police actually did. They asked me directly, did he point the gun at you? And I told them no. He was just very expressive with his hands, so the gun was just, he was moving it a lot and everywhere, but he did not point it at me. And I literally told the police he did not point it at me. I'm all about, you know, like doing what I need to do to protect myself in this instance, calling the police, but I will not add more to the story that wasn't there. So stating that he pointed it at me is something I will not do. Like, if that didn't happen, it didn't happen. I don't agree with, especially women, and I'm sorry that I have to go after women for this, calling the police on people and then making the story worse than what it is to cause more problems for the person that might have hurt you or whatever is just fucked up, and just stop doing that shit, okay? Anyway, my baby daddy had pretty much told him, like, I understand that, like, I hear you, but he should have never pulled a gun out on a female in the first place, and she's struggling with PTSD, she's not okay, like, this has really messed her up, so he shouldn't have done that. And it's crazy that you would even ask me to try to drop the charges in the first place. Man, if you were so worried about not graduating college and having all these things set up for you, then I guess you should have thought about that before you decided to pull a gun out on me in the first place. You should have thought about the fact that, oh, if I go and grab this gun and I pull it out and I threaten her with it, I'm probably going to get kicked out of my apartment. You should have thought about these things before you came to me with the gun in hand and threatened to use it on me. Expecting me to want to drop the charges or help you at all is crazy. And honestly, everything that you have going on with your personal life has absolutely nothing to do with me. But I will say, his friend was kind, his friend was polite, his friend was calm, was willing to hear the other side of the story. I actually saw him today, like 3 times, so. But my daughter just woke up from her nap, so I'm not going to continue to talk about it in front of her. But if you guys have any other questions, comments, whatever. And also thank you again to everybody who's messaged me. I appreciate you. I'll get around to replying to people, possibly. But here's my verbal acknowledgement. Thank you, and I appreciate you. I love the love that I received for both my daughter and I, and also for the people that were concerned about her chicken pox and giving advice on that. I really do appreciate you guys, because it was my first time going through it, and she has scabbed up, and if you guys want to update on her skin and what that looks like, I will definitely do that for you. But woo! My dog. Okay.